Hi, my name is SK. It's been a minute. Let's have a chat. The last few months have been absolutely crazy for me in my personal life. I finished my junior year. I did 2 musicals. I watched my brother get married. I had so much stuff going on. I went to New York City, which was like the best thing in the world. And there's just been so much going on in the last few months that I haven't been able to sit down and film a media check-in. So this is going to be a very long media check-in, including what I have read between the months of March and June. If you see me look back here, I have my notes on my laptop, which my camera is currently balanced against. And I am very bad in front of a camera unless I have a script. So like I said, my personal life has been kind of crazy. I just want to update you guys on that. Last time you saw me was February. And so within the month of March, I had 2 proms. I had my school's prom and I had my boyfriend's school's prom. I did Shrek the Musical, which I vlogged for you guys. I went to Conan Gray that month, which was great. So March was a very busy month. Right after I closed Shrek, a couple days later, we went to New York City on a chorus field trip, which was like the best experience of my entire life. Me and my boyfriend celebrated our 1-year anniversary then, and that was just a really great trip. And then a couple weeks after that, my school did The Little Mermaid, which I didn't vlog, but that show was really, really fun to do. And then final season kicked in. And then I finished my junior year. And my brother got married the 1st of May. Super happy for him and his wife. And then June rolled around. I am working a lot this summer. I'm trying to focus on content creation. And I turned 17. So along with that, of course, knowing me, I went to Barnes & Noble. Because who am I if I don't go book shopping, right?
So I'm going to start with my birthday haul, and then I'll do what I've read in the last few months, and then I'll get to what I'm currently reading.
So, first book on my haul, I have a pink post-it here because this is one I want to read soon. This is Wither by Lauren DeStefano. This is book 1 in the Chemical Garden trilogy. To be entirely honest with you, I picked it up because it's pretty. Like, look how freaking cool that is. Like, wow. And the back cover looks sick. There's sprayed edges that are like lime chartreusey thingy color. I can speak, I promise. But this book looked really cool. The thing that hooked me on it was the tagline on the back. What if you knew when you were going to die? That is a really interesting concept to me, and I'm very excited. Yes, this looks like... Does it have the... This looks like this is Simon & Schuster teen, so it may be like a young adult that I just didn't realize. Oh wow, this came out in 2011. I didn't know that. The cover, this is a new cover, so that's why I thought it was recent. It's classified as science fiction, and I'm a Matt Haig girly, so this kind of like literary science fiction is right up my alley, so I'm very excited. The next book I have is another one of my favorite authors of all time, Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I have read The 7-Year Slip. I have a novel love story on my shelf. I haven't gotten to it yet. I know The Someday Garden comes out, or already has come out, I don't remember. But I need to get my hands on that one. This one I picked up because, in case you didn't know, I'm a musician, and music-related romance novels are like made for me, I feel like. So I'm really excited to read this one as well. Carly Fortune wrote a blurb on the back. I didn't see that. Dang. Okay. I haven't read any Carly Fortune. I need to. The premise of this one is that this girl, her name is Joni. She's a songwriter in Los Angeles, and yet she can't write. There's an emptiness inside her and nothing seems to fill it. When she returns to her hometown, she hopes that it will spark inspiration, but when she gets there, nothing is how she left it. How can Joni write when her world is leaving her behind? Then she hears a melody in her head, and she meets this guy, I think is what this means, and both of them have the same melody. Because that melody, the one drawing them together, what if it's there for a reason? It is a really interesting concept. I'm really excited. I really like how Ashley Poston does, I guess magical realism is the right term for it. It's kind of fantasy, but it's also kind of like, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. The 7-Year Slip was my first Ashley Poston, and I absolutely adored that book, so I'm very excited to continue reading more. The next one you've already seen, Martyr by Kaveh Akbar, my like favorite book of all time. And you're probably sitting here like, SK, why did you buy another copy? I thought you already had this book. I did. I lost it. I don't know where it is. And I just lost all hope. I'm really sad about it because I annotated that one too, and it was really cool, and I was really proud of it. But this just gives me an excuse to reread it and re-annotate it with fresh eyes. I feel like looking at it, now that I'm a little older, I read it like 6 months ago, but like, the last 6 months have changed me a lot, to be completely honest with you. But I love this book. I could not recommend it enough. I love it. It's about this young man named Cyrus, who is trying to write a book about martyrs. And in doing so, he goes to New York and he starts to learn about his own life, learn about his parents. It flashes back between Cyrus's POV and the POV of his parents, both of them. And it's just, I literally like bawled my eyes out half the time with this book. It's beautiful. I'm obsessed with it.
No, don't do it!
The next one, I didn't even know it had sprayed edges. I couldn't tell. Oh my god, I didn't even notice. Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This will be my first Taylor Jenkins read, and I'm very excited. I know my parents watched Daisy Jones and the Six, and they really liked it. So I saw this in the store, and I immediately had to pick it up, because literally a couple days before I went, me and Camry were at lunch, and she was giving me book recommendations. The cover is so pretty. It is about... Actually, I haven't read the blurb on the back. Hold on. It's set in the summer of 1980 and about the first woman scientist to join NASA's space shuttle program. I'm really excited to read this one. The middle school girl in me is kind of screaming because in middle school I was like obsessed with NASA. Like I had all the Apollo missions memorized and stuff. It was a thing. But I'm really excited to read this one. Again, it's so pretty. Like look at it. Look at it, right? Like, anyways, I need to stop talking about covers. They tell you not to judge a book by its cover. I do. I'm sorry. Next, we have The Dead Romantics, another Ashley Poston. This one my mom gave me, actually. It's about a woman named Florence who's a ghostwriter for a romance author. After a terrible breakup, she no longer believes in love. It is as good as dead. Get it? Because Dead Romantics.
That's so not funny.
She goes back home when her father passes away. Her father's gone, yet everything else feels the same, and she hates it until she finds a ghost standing at the funeral's parlor door, just as broad and infuriatingly handsome as ever, and she's just as confused about why he's there as she is. Romance is certainly dead, but so is her new editor, and his unfinished business will have her second-guessing everything she's ever known about love stories. This seems sick. This feels like a mix, just by reading the blurb on the back, it feels like a mix between The 7-Year Slip and The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, which is, again, one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm really, really excited about this one. Again, another Ashley Poston. I may read Sounds Like Love first and then get to this one. I don't know. I have 4 Ashleys now on my shelf that I need to get to eventually. So, who's to say? Next is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Again, this was another one I picked up for the cover and the spine. Look at that. That is so cool. This is a Reese's Book Club pick. This is the exclusive edition from Barnes & Noble. I am new to Emily Henry. I read, what's it called? Words. Come on, you can do it. I read Book Lovers, in April, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I absolutely adored that book. And it was just so good. So that was my first Emily Henry. Now I have this one. I have Happy Place on my shelf. And I know there's a couple more she has that I need to get eventually. This one is about Alice and Hayden, who are competing to write the biography of this woman named Margaret. And it's kind of like an enemies to lovers. I love enemies to lovers. I'm sorry, I'm basic. There's one more book that you've seen me talk about a million times. This is what I'm currently reading. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I did get this on my birthday, for the record. And the last book I got on my birthday is Matchmaking for Psychopaths by Tasha Coriel. This was absolutely insane. This book was crazy. and I loved every freaking second of it. I'm trying to get into the horror genre of reading. I love a good horror movie. Thanks to my boyfriend. Hi, Trip, love you. But I haven't really gotten into horror novels until recently. This book was absolutely wild, and I loved it a lot. And it is about this girl whose name is Lexi, and she works in a matchmaking company, and her specific division is matchmaking. You guessed it, psychopaths. When Lexi's fiance runs off with a so-called best friend on her birthday, her carefully crafted fairy tale life shatters. Having survived horrors in her past, she was determined to finally get her happily ever after, and she's not giving up yet. This is genuinely one of the most insane books I've ever read. I just recently watched Obsession. I say recently, it's been like a month, but if you liked Obsession, if you were as, like, in love with Obsession as I was, you were going to love this book. This feels like, in my head, I was picturing, like, characters from Obsession, frankly. The amount of plot twists in this book were, not plot twists, but, like, oh my god moments. There were several, but not to the point where you're like, okay, like, why are we still going? Like, it didn't get to where it's like every single page there's something new you're discovering. But I did love this book. I think I gave this one 5 stars. And so with this one, we will transition into the books that I have read recently. I have done 3 audiobooks in the last couple of months, which is great. The first one I'll just grab because I have a physical copy of it as well. The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. I will be singing Matt Haig's praises until the day I die, unless he does something bad. I absolutely loved this one. I don't remember what I rated it. I want to say 4.75. This is about a woman named Grace who is left a rundown house on a Mediterranean island by a long-lost friend. She arrives in Ibiza with a one-way ticket, no guidebook, and no plan. Grace searches for answers about her friend's life and how it ended. What she uncovers is stranger than she could have dreamed. But to dive into the impossible truth, Grace must first come to terms with her past. Oh my god, Benedict Cumberbatch wrote a blurb. A wry and tender love letter to the best of being human. Well, he's right. I adored this book. I loved the audiobook narrator. I listened to it on Libby. The narrator was absolutely precious. I, like, cried for half of it. I cry a lot during books. But this book was just so sweet. Definitely a different vibe than Midnight Library, but it still felt like Matt Haig. You know what I mean? But yeah, I loved this one. Next is one I didn't like so much. Battle of the Bookstores by Allie Brady. I really wanted to like this one. I really did. It was just, there was something about it that I just, I think the writing style wasn't for me. The way that the main female character, Josie, talked about herself, she was like, literally, there was one page where she was like, I'm wearing a pencil skirt because it accentuates how big my butt is, and I have big boobs, and I'm like, dude, this just feels like, you know, no one would ever, like, actually say that, right?
I don't know. I guess I'm not woke.
It just wasn't for me. I feel like it just felt, both main characters felt over-sexualized to me, which, like, I don't care about spice in books. That's neither here nor there. It doesn't bother me. But it also gets to a point where if the only adjective you can use to describe a male main character is sexy, I'm just like, why? Like, I don't know. In case you couldn't tell from the cover, this book is about rivalry and romance spark when 2 bookstore managers who are opposites in every way find themselves competing for the same promotion. It's a Sunshine X Grumpy, but it's the guys the Sunshine, the girls the Grumpy. And it was okay. Like, I read it in like 2 days. I mean, it was like a fast, quick romance. I didn't like it though. But that's just me. I'm also really picky about romances. They have to be just right. I say as the next 3 I have are romances that I really liked. But yeah, it was okay. if you need something quick and just something that to read to get another book on your finished list, then go for it. I'm definitely not rereading it anytime soon. Next one, The Love of My Life, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is the, I think, Target special edition, and she is so pretty. I love her. I read this one literally, I think, in 3 days. I binged half of it on my way home from New York, and then the other half of it I finished literally the next day. I adored this book. Nora Stevens' Life is Books. She's read them all. She's not that type of heroine. The only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals through the cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved sister Libby, which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August, when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away, with visions of a small town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine in her own story. Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they've met many times, and it has never been cute. This is the perfect enemies to lovers. This is the most phenomenal enemies to lovers I've ever read. The banter in this is insane. Again, Emily Henry's dialogue is just great. I love Emily Henry. This being my first Emily Henry, 10 out of 10. And has got me hooked on the rest of her books that I'm very excited to read. I don't know if they'll hold up to Book Lovers, but I have heard they will. Next one, Picking Daisies on... Ooh, that was cool. Wait. Picking Daisies on Sundays by Leanna Kincaid. I went into this one with very low expectations. My really good friend Audrey read it. I just realized I didn't talk about the other two audiobooks while I was talking about Life Impossible. We'll go back to it. Anyways, I really trust her opinion because she recommends a lot of books to me that I really like. So I went into this one with very low expectations, but I was very pleasantly surprised. I really did like it. She's always longed for love until she fell for her childhood best friend, basically. The main female character is named Daisy. It all ended when Levi didn't feel the same way about Daisy and vowed to never see him again. 4 years later, there he is in a crowded West Village bar, just as perfect as ever. Maybe it's the lighting or the way his hair curls above his brow. But when he asks her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding, she can't bring herself to say no. This was my first, actual fake dating trope. I watched To All the Boys I Loved Before, which is a fake dating trope. I never read the books. This one I really, really liked. The fake dating was done pretty well. The dialogue was really funny, and I loved Levi. I'm sorry, I loved Levi. I loved him. He was great. Shout out a male character that can yearn. I love some good yearning. Before I forget, let me talk about my other two audiobooks from this last couple of months. I keep wanting to say this month. This has been since, March. The first was the memoir of Kelly Bishop, Emily Gilmore from Gilmore Girls. It was called The Third Gilmore Girl, and I listened to this one on Libby and just steadily cried through the whole thing. I think I rated it 5 stars. It was so good. Kelly Bishop is probably one of my favorite actresses of all time. She hasn't just been on TV and film. She has been on Broadway. She is a Tony Award winner for the original Broadway cast of A Chorus Line, which is one of my favorite musicals of all time. And she is just a phenomenal person as well. Reading her story and just getting to get a glimpse into what her life was like, how hard she has worked to get where she is now, has just been great. She also narrated the audiobook herself, and I was bawling the entire time. It was so good. I could not recommend that one enough, especially if you are a fan of Gilmore Girls. I just finished my first watch through of Gilmore Girls, and just, that show kills me every single time. I love it. But yeah, I definitely recommend that if you're in need of a good, nonfiction memoir kind of thing. Her writing is absolutely hilarious. She's very well-spoken, and she's very honest, which I do love about her. My other audiobook was Chlorine by Jade Song, which is a book that has been on my TBR since I got Fable, last year. This is a magical realism, dark horror, YA novel. about this girl on a swim team who kind of like goes crazy and starts to think that she's a mermaid, basically. I promise that's not a spoiler. She literally talks about it from the first page.
So why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why am I?
But this book is absolutely wild. I don't have a copy because I borrowed it from my library, but I do want to buy a copy and to annotate it and reread it again. This book was absolutely freaking crazy. I loved every second of it. It was written very, very well. The magical realism was done in a way that was very, like, down to earth. It wasn't even really magical. It was just, like, almost body horror kind of way. And, I don't know. We had an unreliable narrator, which I really, really liked. I love a good unreliable narrator. And I loved getting to just get inside of her head. It was a really interesting main character. Read the content warnings before you read it, please. Because I didn't. And there was some stuff in there that I, like, personally, not triggered, but, like, that kind of opened up some feelings that I had. Not in, like, a bad way. It was still such a beautiful book, and it was honestly, I feel like the mermaid part is a metaphor of being a woman and having to go through the struggles, and she talks about a lot of stuff relating to womanhood and adolescence and growing up into a world that doesn't favor women. But it was just beautifully written. I loved that book. The last book I have on this list is Talking at Night by Claire Daverly. This book I finished while I was at the beach. What can I even say? This is Sally Rooney's daughter, I fear. I don't know, actually, when did this book come out? Did it come out before Sally Rooney? It came out in 2023. This is Gen Z Sally Rooney in my brain. This book is just normal people, but worse. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Normal people, but so much worse. It was so good. I absolutely adored it. I really don't have much else to say. It was so freaking good. I cried through half of it. I hate to say that I relate to Rosie, the female main character. A lot of what she goes through and a lot of what she, like, a lot of her internal monologue is stuff that I've said to myself, and I'm just like, dang it. God. I love this book so much. I need to find if Claire Daverly has more books because I adore her. And that's the books that I have read in the last few months. So my finished list is now at 19 books, which is a lot better than I thought I'd be by now. My goal for the year of 2026 is to read 30 books. And so we are 11 away. And I am, according to Fable, I'm projected to meet my goal by October. But with how fast I'm reading a couple other books I have, it may be sooner than that. Originally, I had a goal to read every single day this year. But thanks to how busy life got, that was reduced to only 300 days. And then to only 200 days. And then it got to the point where the goal itself was stressing me out so much I didn't want to read. And I just had to remind myself, hey, you're doing this because you love it, and you're doing this for fun. Please don't. I feel like I always pressure myself that I have to do everything perfectly. Otherwise, I won't do it at all. And I'm trying to get better at that, and I'm trying to be used to imperfection and, I guess, failure, which is something I've always struggled with. So I've changed that goal to how many pages I've read. So my goal is 7.5K, and I'm currently sitting at around 6.4K. And I feel really good about that. I feel like I will easily be able to finish this and maybe even exceed it by the end of the year. How I feel about exceeding goals, I'm not going to change the goal if I get over 30 books, for example, or if I get over 7.5 thousand pages. I'm just going to say, great, you did it, and you exceeded expectations, and that's great, and I'll take that into account as to how many books I want to read within the next year. Now we can finally get into my currently reading. I have 3 books right now. This one, you've heard me talk about it so much, Linnea Maya Erst Waist Deep. This is basically, the way I explained it to my friend John was, Stephen Sondheim's Company, the musical, but a lot more queer and a lot more modern, and set in Sweden. I really like this one already. This is about 5 friends from university who spend a week at a summer house in Denmark, a chance to swim, catch up, and mess around like old times. But it's kind of about like the changes they've all been through, because some of them are engaged, some of them have kids, some of them are single and wondering what the heck's going on. And it's just a really interesting commentary on how growing up changes you and changes your relationships. And I'm really, really liking it. I am so close to finishing it. I just need to lock in and finish it. Yeah. The other 2 I have are library books. This one, The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. You knew I was going to pull this one out. I love Matt Haig. But I'm listening to this one on Libby because I listened to Life Impossible on Libby, and I feel like getting the audiobook felt more immersive in the world. And I already love the narrator for this one. This isn't like a sequel technically. It's within the same universe as The Midnight Library, but it isn't Nora, and it isn't her going through the stuff. It is about a man named Wilbur, right? When your life flashes before your eyes, what will matter most? For Wilbur, it was his time with Maggie, the love of his life, their honeymoon in Venice before he threw it all away. Years later, on the brink of his own death, a train arrives. It can take Wilbur back in time to relive his most important moments. Soon, he realizes just how much he would have changed. But is it already too late? I am already loving this book. And it is just, I love it so much. I'm very happy. And I am probably, I want to say around 10% of my way into the audiobook. And just, I'm having the best time. I'm having a really good time. And the last book I have that I'm currently reading is They're Going to Love You by Meg Howry. This is another one that I've had on my TBR for like months now, like since I got Fable. Shout out Fable, please give me a sponsorship. This is about a woman named Carlisle whose father is a dancer in New York City who is gay, and it goes back and forth between her, like, as a child watching her father and watching her father's partner and their, like, relationship and the AIDS crisis in the 80s. And it comes back to the present where her father, Robert, is passing away, or about to pass away, and she's kind of grappling with that. I'm not too far into this one, but I love the writing style already. I love the way the characters speak about each other. It's very brutally honest. It almost reminds me of Kelly Bishop's memoir in a way, where it's very blunt and it's very honest in its writing, and all the characters are very honest with each other about how they feel and what they think. And I really admire that. I probably won't finish this one for the next couple of days, but that's okay. And I am just, I feel very lucky to be able to get to do what I do and be able to read and learn. With that, there is my list of everything that I have read and everything I want to read. If you like this, please consider subscribing. I have a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers by the start of my senior year in August. We are already at almost 200, which is insane, and I'm very, very lucky and very excited. If you have more content ideas, please let me know. I'm trying to get a more consistent schedule with long form content. Short form, I post every day except Monday. So if you have ideas, please let me know. And apart from that, I will see you soon. Thanks, guys.